And he came over
As
and
soon
hugged
as it was over,
Jason.
he
He's
came
like,
over, he
thank you
gave me
for
the biggest
bringing.
hug. Yeah, he was just floored by Tale of Moana. He told me it was the best thing he'd ever seen and couldn't believe it. I was really touched and surprised by his reaction. I was like, okay, Disney, take my money. Let's get that placeholder. Let's go.
Right. Here you go,
let's do this
Mickey.
again.
All my money. Here you go. Oh my God.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the DCL Duo podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And Sam, it's jingle time. Do your jingle.
Woohoo! Simply the best, better than all the rest.
All right, this week's listener review comes from Rachel Herrera 11, who writes, very fun and informative. I love the whole concept behind this podcast. I've been dying to take a Disney cruise, and now I know where to go to get all the pertinent information. I listened to the Touch of Disney episode, and it also had a lot of great information. Brian and Samantha are my go-to podcasters for everything Disney cruises. They give the good, the bad, and everything in between. I value their opinion. Well, thank you for that review, Rachel. We really, really appreciate it.
I think that's Rachel, who we had on our show very early on in the podcast, who's actually a former cast member who maybe was friends with a Disney princess or two, and now is actually like a makeup artist in LA. She's awesome.
Yes. Well, I hope you're still out there listening, Rachel, and you can hear your review right on the air. For all of you out there listening, just a quick reminder I give every week that one of the easiest ways to help support the show, head over to Apple Podcasts, hit those 5 stars. And if you leave us a written 5-star review, we will read it on the air at the top of one of our main episodes. And as I've taken to saying more recently, we know people are listening to us on Spotify or watching us on YouTube. So many different places you can listen to or watch podcasts these days. So if you're on a different platform than Apple Podcasts, they all have rating systems. If it's popcorn buckets, if it's thumbs up, if it's hearts, if it's, I don't know, teddy bears,
Stars,
like give them
like
all
Apple.
to us. We give them all to us. Yes.
Help us reach more people, because the higher rated we are when somebody searches for something Disney related, or of course, if they search Disney cruise related, we should pop up immediately. But if they are sort of more general cruise focused or just more general Disney focused, if you give us those 5 stars, then we're more likely to show up in someone's search.
All right. Sam, I'm going to throw it back to you to introduce our guests and our fun topic for today. So take it away.
All right. I'm super excited because this is one of our favorite guests, but he's brought his sister with him as well today, all the way from Amsterdam. We are welcoming back to the show, Jason. Welcome back, Jason.
Hey, Sam. Hey, Brian. It's so nice to be back with you guys.
So nice to have you back. And he's brought his sister all the way from Oregon. Welcome to the show, Paris.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you both on. For those who don't remember, we've had Jason on 2 or 3 times, I think, at this point. I know we've covered Concierge with him. His first time sailing in Concierge, we've covered a couple different ships, but today we're going to be covering the Disney Treasure, a 7-night cruise. I think this was your first 7-night cruise, Jason. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Everything else has been on the shorter side of things, and finally dipping your toe into longer cruise. Jason, why don't you remind folks of what your cruising creds and Disney background are, and then we'll throw it over to Paris to talk to her about that too.
Yeah, sounds good. So this was my 3rd cruise ever and 3rd Disney cruise. 2 years ago, we sailed Concierge on the Wish. Then a year ago, did 3 nights on the Wonder out of San Diego. My Disney background is we're from Oregon, so we grew up going to Disneyland probably every year or 2 years, more or less, growing up. And then I started going down to Orlando when I was living in New York in 2012. And I've also been, now that I live in Amsterdam, I've been to Disneyland Paris multiple times. I don't know how many. And I've also made it once out to Tokyo in 2008. It's been a long time. I definitely want to go back. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Paris, what is well, I imagine your Disney background is similar to Jason's growing up together. How many Disney cruises have you been on? Or
I have been on all the same cruises with Jason and my sister-in-law and niece and nephew, and then our mom. They're great. I've been looking at all the pictures in my phone, and I'm like, oh, it's over.
I know. Well, let's dive into planning for this cruise. You all have cruised as a family. Did mom come this time as well?
Yeah, our mother came too as well. It was the same.
She and I are a
crew of
package
6
deal.
from our last cruise. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, you got to have a roomie. You don't want to pay for an empty space. You got to pay for at least 2 cruisers in every stateroom on Disney Cruise Line. It's, most of the cruise lines are based on double occupancy. There are a couple of cruise lines where you can get a single occupancy rate, but Disney Cruise Line, unfortunately or fortunately, depending upon your point of view, requires you to pay for 2 cruisers in every stateroom. And so, obviously, if you are sailing, it's nice to have somebody to split that cost with.
I got to know, who's the bigger Disney fan here?
Oh, yeah.
My brother.
Probably me.
Okay.
Probably. He's always the one who's like, okay, so we're going to go on a Disney trip. And then Vera and my mom and I are like, okay, how much is this going to cost? And
I'm definitely the instigator and the spender.
Yeah. We're very like, we'd be happy to go on a different vacation and do something different together, but this is also great. So it's him. He's the big one. And then I think mom too.
Oh, is she? Yeah. Is it because she wants to go to Disney, or is it because she wants to see the grandkids at Disney?
So she grew up in Eugene, Oregon, and went to Disney with her family as well. And she always talks about how much cheaper it was, and how when they had they had tickets, and their mom would make them save their tickets, but they would always end up with leftover tickets at the end of the day and be like, we didn't go on it. So I think she always liked it, but now that it's something we all get to do together, that's been really special.
Well, especially now that we live 9 time zones apart, going on vacation together, a Disney vacation together, whether it's a cruise or parks, is a really nice opportunity and dynamic. And, my kids are not great at other types of vacations. So Disney really kind of ticks a lot of boxes for us. It's a really nice time for the whole family.
Yeah.
Well, Paris, it sounds like you're outnumbered in the vote. But I'm curious. I mean, you mentioned other vacations. Have you thought about cruising not with Disney?
No, and not without my family. I'm not interested in either of those things. I think maybe if the kids get older and I'm reaching a retirement stage in my life and they don't want to go on the cruise or something, maybe investigating. But definitely none of us are interested in trying to find a budget cruise option just so that we can go on a cruise, right? I think I read some YouTube comments, different people talking about they've sailed on different lines, and they're like, you do pay a little bit more for Disney, but you also get what you pay for.
Now, Jason, how did you convince them all this time to take a 7-night cruise as opposed to one of those shorter cruises that you've been able to convince them on before?
Well, honestly, it wasn't that difficult. After 2 years ago, we did 4 nights Concierge on the Wish, and we all agreed that it was way too short, that none of us were ready to get off the ship. None of us wanted to leave. So that really planted the seed. At that point, the Treasure was under construction. We knew it was on the horizon. It was launching at the end of 24, I think. So that's really, this trip was 2 years in the making. We said, okay, we want Concierge again. There's a new ship. Let's do the new ship. And let's do definitely much longer than 4 nights.
Now, on the planning side of things, Jason, do you take on the bulk of the planning, or does somebody else jump in at that stage once the cruise has been chosen?
I do all the planning, more or less. I involve and consult. I provide options. But as I provide the options, I also say, by the way, this is the one that I think we should do.
I love that. Paris, is this accurate?
For the most part, well, Mom is the Disney Vacation Club title owner. It's this great dynamic. I love this dynamic. Jason blue skies it. He's like, this is what we can and should do. And then the rest of us go, okay, well, we only have so much time and there's budget. We got to make this work. We can't just because I would love to spend all the money. Like, I think money is to be spent, and spending it on vacations is great. But yeah, it's very much he's our blue sky whiteboard, and then we come in and we're like, okay, well, what about
You value
this?
engineer. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So mom and Paris value engineer, probably Vera
and
too.
Vera as well. Mhm.
Yeah. 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 And Jason's like, the money's no object.
It's good. We need him though, because otherwise we probably would all just like vacation in the backyard or whatever. Like we wouldn't get to do these things.
Yeah, you wouldn't book it otherwise. Yeah, no, I get that. Like you need the person, the dreamer, and then you need the realist to kind of, and you come together somewhere in the middle. I love that. All right, well, you guys booked Concierge. What kinds of staterooms did you book for this trip in Concierge?
So we had two adjoining or connecting family staterooms, family veranda staterooms.
Perfect. So your family of 4 in one and Paris and mom in the other?
That's right, yeah. And it works out really great because we open that connecting door, and then my son Casper, who turned 12 on this cruise, he sleeps in one of the bunks over there, and we open up the veranda between the rooms, and it kind of just becomes a more or less big ensuite kind of thing for all 6 of us.
Yeah, then there's no fighting over that bunk bed, right? Because then each kid, if they want it, can have a bunk bed. I love that. That's perfect. All right, well, for the planning side of things, were there certain things you wanted to book in terms of, I don't know, excursions, adult? I know you booked adult dining, drink tastings, and any of that sort of stuff you want, and maybe a cabana because you were going to Castaway for a 7-night cruise. Yeah. So what were the things you were looking to book? I imagine you didn't have any difficulty booking because you're sending that email to Shoreside Concierge at 100, what is it, 130 days? Or is it, yeah, something like that?
Yeah. So this, because of the 7-night cruise, this also allowed us to do our first shore port adventures other than Castaway Cay. So this was the first cruise of the 3 we've done that we got off the ship at each of the port stops and did things. So that's a first. And I did book those through Concierge. And then we also got a cabana, a Mickey and Minnie cabana, which we should talk about.
We should definitely talk about that. We'll get there. Other stuff that you booked in advance?
My wife and I did Enchanté also for the first time. I booked a Royal Gathering just in case. We do it every time. So I book it just in case. You never know. What else? Oh, we booked lots of things. We did the pirate makeovers for the kids.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, which we've never done before.
Those are always, I love the makeup jobs that they do on the kids, and they have this like beard and all. It's just kind of hilarious.
It's super cute.
Yeah.
And then also
great. Honestly, it was like movie magic makeup. It was so good.
Yeah, they did. And the photos turned out awesome. I also, on top of the activities and excursions, so we didn't do any tastings. We talked about it, and we've done them on the past cruises, but we're paying for happy hour in the concierge bar. Like the best tasting is right there, and we have it every day for 5 hours. So we knew, we feel like pros at this point. We're getting close. We knew better than to spend more to drink more in another bar at an inconvenient time of the day. So we did a lot of drinking in the concierge bar, and spending a lot of time in the concierge lounge. But I'd also sent ahead of time a long list of requests to Concierge Shoreside. So it was also, we had 2 birthdays on this cruise. And I think it's the and a half. Yeah.
My nephews and my birthday are all at the end of April.
Exactly. So Casper and Paris both had their birthdays on the ship. And then our mom's birthday, grandma's birthday, was the week before we got on the ship. Yeah. So I had some special requests for that. I informed the team like their birthdays. And so they gave us birthday cake towels in the rooms, which was super nice for each of those days. And then also, of course, birthday buttons. And concierge team knew it was their birthday, knew it was Casper's birthday, and wishing I happy birthday all day. Yeah. So they're fun things like that. And then also in this long list of requests, I requested, I think I had done a lot of listening to your episodes and watching a lot of things on YouTube. So I knew to request the sodas and drinks that we wanted, of course. But also I requested robes for the kids. That was a new one that I know. So that was a big hit. Both the kids really enjoyed the kids' robes.
Yeah, they're adorable. And it's like just kind of fun to see your kids like lounging around the room in their Disney Cruise Line robes. It's one of those like it's just an experience.
It's super cute. I really think every time Casper went back to the room, he threw on the robe. I'm pretty sure it was used daily, which was really cute. And then also, I submitted a request ahead of time for a meal accommodation. So my son Casper is on the autism spectrum, and one thing that he really struggles with is making decisions, especially at dinner time. If he's hungry or tired, decision making is overwhelming, can be overwhelming. So I thought for this cruise, okay, I just would really like it. We're also vegetarian. Our family, my family of four, is vegetarian. So I requested for them to always have an Impossible Burger, which he likes and enjoys, just to always have it as a choice at dinner. So no matter what, if he doesn't like the menu or can't decide what's on the menu, he'll know ahead of time that he can always fall back on that. And what I learned from the Concierge short side team is that they bumped me over to a special request services team, which was interesting. And I had to send the special request services team. First of all, I couldn't do it too far in advance. It had to be within 30 days. And then I had to also send them a photo of the food item that I wanted them to purchase to have on board. I couldn't just tell them buy Impossible Burgers. I had to send them a picture of the product from like a grocery store website so that they would know. And this is great care. It was also a bit weird, but it shows Disney taking great care to provide service of giving you what you want. So it was all done through email, and it worked. They were ready when we got on board. They knew that he needed his Impossible Burger option every night at dinner, and they were able to accommodate that.
That's awesome. I haven't heard like the sort of the technical way of how that's worked before. And I think that's great. I mean, it does sound a little weird that you need to send a picture. On the other hand, better that they ask you to send a picture than they get the wrong thing, right? Like that's the whole point of sending the picture, is so that they actually get the product that you're requesting.
What they're doing is putting it, like they're putting it into their ordering queue, right? So like they're probably provisioning 30 days out, and they want to make sure if that thing is available, they get the exact thing you want. And if not, then they're probably going to respond back with, well, here's what we can get. Do any of these work, right? So yeah.
That's great. And that's super smart. I think anyone who has a child or a family member who has any kind of like food issues, I'm going to just call them food issues, whether that be allergies, food preferences, particularities, right? Like you can make those requests through special services and they will do their best to meet them. And so if your child like needs to have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for dinner every night, they will have that available for you every night. It's just a matter of you may have to make that request. And some requests you can just make on board. If it's something that they normally provision, you can just make that request with your serving team on that first night, or go and talk to the dining folks that first day before dinner. That's the best way to do it, is to make sure they sort of done it at some point in advance, even if it's on board. But if it's a item that you're not sure if they actually stock, then you've got to do that ahead of time through special services. That's super, super smart.
My guess is they do place some limits on the preferencing piece of that, Sam, though.
Of course. Yeah. It's not just I only like this kind of cheese, provision this cheese. It's generally disability related, whether that be an allergy or, autism or what have you. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's dive in. You're traveling from afar. Both of you technically traveling from afar to Orlando. I know you're smart cruisers. You're not traveling the day of your cruise. How far in advance did you travel to Orlando, and where did you all stay pre-cruise? Paris, I'll throw this one to you.
Yeah, we did this one very different. On our past two cruises, I think we did like one night in a hotel, then we would go on the cruise, and then we would come back. And then the next day we would go and hit the parks. And after our last cruise in California on the Wonder, kind of twofold. My mom and I got sick on the Wonder. So the parks, we were sick the whole time, had a cold. And then it also was just like the cruise can be really leisurely and relaxing. And then to come back and be like, all right, now we're going to do all day and all night at Disneyland. So we decided to do the parks first. So what we did a week, and we did Universal Studios this time. And in order to take advantage of some of the perks of the luxury hotel, but also not break the bank, we hopped hotels 3 times. Oh, 2 times.
Wow.
Yeah. We stayed in 3 different hotels.
So 3 different hotels. Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it. There are some benefits. But that's a lot of hotel moving, especially with 2 kids, in tow.
And an old lady.
Yeah, that and an old lady. But I do think you've learned your lesson. So I'm going to congratulate you all. You've learned your lesson. Parks, we always tell people parks first, then cruise, not cruise, then parks. It's a combination of factors, one being that the parks are not relaxing and the cruise can be relaxing if you want to do it that way. But also that sticker shock on the food there's just nothing worse than after being on a cruise and all the food's included. And then you get to the parks and you're like, oh my God, like that soda costs me like $7 and that, burger is going to cost me like $40. Like it's just horrific. So yeah, well done in learning the lesson after a couple of previous trips. Okay. So when did I take it you head down to, the port that morning from your hotels, or did you go and stay a night in the Cocoa Beach area?
No, we were staying, we ended after the parks, we transferred over to Disney and stayed at Copper Creek and Wilderness Lodge. And then we Ubered from there to the port. This was the first time that we didn't use Disney transportation to get to Port Canaveral. And it was great. I loved that we Ubered because we actually got there earlier. And as concierge guests, we got there on time to board. Whereas 2 years ago on the Wish, the bus transportation from Disney got us there like a few minutes after they had already started boarding concierge, and it felt very rushed and busy. So this was nice to get there earlier.
Yeah, I think if you are sailing concierge, I think private transportation is generally the better option because you can get there as early as you want to be there, right? I think that the Disney transportation is great for people who have lower Castaway Club status or no Castaway Club status, because you'll actually get an earlier, port arrival time than if you were to use private transportation. So it's kind of that balance. And then, of course, you got to figure out, what's the most cost effective. And generally, the larger your party is, the more cost effective private transportation is. A small party, you're only paying for like 2 people. Disney transportation might be the more cost effective way. So, all right. So you get there, you get through how did the boarding process go? This is your second time sailing out of Port Canaveral. And of course you get to go into the concierge sort of lounge space at the port terminal. But how did the boarding process go?
Yeah, I think it went pretty smoothly. The only hiccups were our mother, could not find her boarding, what is it called? The boarding pass?
Like the QR. Yeah.
The QR code and all that for herself and for Paris. This happened 2 years ago on the Wish as well. We're all on iOS. She's on Android, a septuagenarian trying to find something on her Android phone that none of us know how to use or help her. It was messy. And I just couldn't believe it that it happened. The same thing happened 2 years ago. That we were there trying to get on the board and she couldn't find it. And we couldn't find it in her email either. But luckily it was fine. They checked her and it was fine. She didn't need it.
They told us they just needed the stateroom number.
Yeah.
This is where I always say, like, this is the one time I still print out. So I get the pass on my phone, but then I always print out the port arrival form because you just don't, like, some of these ports too, the cell service is terrible, or you're not on the Wi-Fi yet, you're hassling with it. So I just print out the form and I just hand it to them. But yes, they can always just look you up by your stateroom too. Yeah.
Well, Brian, you and my mother have a lot in common because she likes to print out everything as well. But we looked, both Paris and I looked in her email. We did searches. We couldn't find it. Whereas I had mine in my inbox, like within seconds after my, check-in, digital check-in. We couldn't find it. So, and she would have printed it if she had it. Yeah, I don't know.
Next time have it sent to Paris. Yeah. Well, and
I didn't get one, and it wasn't in spam.
No. That's one per room. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, whenever we're iPhone users as well. And so when somebody else has like an Android phone and they're trying to do something and like I can't help them. I have no idea. I don't even know what buttons to press to like navigate a menu on an Android. It's completely different ecosystem. So if you're used to one, it's really hard to help someone with the other. All right. So, okay. Well, so a little hiccup at the boarding process, but nothing big. I got to ask you about that boarding into the beautiful Disney Treasure Atrium or Grand Hall. Of course, you'd been on the Wish, so you knew what to expect in terms of the grandeur, the size, the space. But it's very different atrium than the one on the Wish. Paris, what was that moment like? And what did you think of that decorated Aladdin Grand Hall vibe?
I think all the ships are beautiful. I think it was absolutely gorgeous and it's shiny and new. I also feel like nothing will ever compare to that first time that I stepped on board the Disney cruise ship and saw that glittering ballroom. And I like the sparkles that the Cinderella ballroom has, or atrium. But I feel like there's that moment of stepping into this other world that I feel like no other ship is going to be able to compete with, because I'm always going to be comparing it to that.
So true. I think your first time on a Disney cruise, and you guys got to, I mean, really going on to the Wish class, I think for the first time, regardless of which ship it is kind of the most breathtaking. And this is no, shade to the older Disney ships. They all are beautiful in their own right, but they don't have the grandness of the Grand Hall, right? They're much smaller and more compact. And they have these beautiful chandeliers, but they're just more classic ocean liner looking versus the sort of grandeur and the theming that you get on the Wish class, whether that's on the Wish, the Treasure, or the Destiny. Jason, what did you think of that Grand Hall on the Treasure?
I thought it was beautiful. It felt like, it's interesting, this being our third cruise. The first two kind of felt like you could really feel the learning curve. They felt like kind of experiments. The first one on the Wish was like, okay, are we cruise people, and is this a good vacation experience? Yes or no? And then 4 nights and you're out. And then last year on the Wonder, we're like, do we like the old ships as much as the Wish class ships? Let's see and find out. And it was 3 nights and then you're out. There was a lot of anxiety. This for me felt like coming home. I felt like, I'm back. I'm back, and this is exactly how I want to feel and what I want to be. And I felt like just relaxed. Instantly relaxed walking to the Treasure. It felt like walking to the Wish. I will say it felt smaller than I remembered. I don't know why. I know it's the same size, but it was smaller than I expected. But I got over that. After a couple of days, it felt the same size as the Wish, the Grand Hall.
It's probably just that memory of the grandeur, right? Like, because that was your first time on a ship also. And so it's probably sort of outsized in your memory, right? And then of course, in comparison to the Wonder, very different sizes as well. All right. Well, I'm guessing you went to the Concierge sit-down lunch, sailing. Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, it's a lovely way to start. You can get a little bubbly or a beer with your lunch included. Super nice. All right. Did you guys have anything to sort of manage on board? Anything, any special requests to check up on? I don't know if you wanted to check up on the special services request or make any dining changes or anything once you got on board.
Honestly, no. I had confirmation from shoreside that the concierge team had received all the requests, and I wasn't going to really fuss about any of it until after the lunch we went to the concierge lounge, and then I would check and see if things are. But I just kind of just let it all go and say, okay, let's just see what happens. Let's see what gets delivered against my punch list.
I love it. I have to say, the one thing that is really nice is when you do have any kind of special request and you happen to be staying concierge, you're just dealing with the concierge team. You don't have to deal with guest services. You don't have to deal with any other department. They are your liaison to every other department, which is just a really nice perk. Because if you are sailing, regular, you're kind of running around and having to manage that yourself and figure out who you need to talk to versus, the team doing it for you. And it is really nice to kind of just relax and enjoy the vacation. All right, well, let's let's start with, I kind of want to get right to the ports because you mentioned you got the Cabana at Castaway. You mentioned you all actually did port excursions this time. I don't even think I asked, were you on the Eastern or the Western Caribbean itinerary?
Eastern. We went to St. Thomas and Tortola.
Right. So you were exactly 2 weeks after us then. That makes perfect sense because we were on the Eastern and then the week in between was the Western and then you were on the Eastern. All right, Paris, why don't you tell me what you guys got up to in St. Thomas and Tortola?
In St. Thomas, we took a catamaran to St. John's Beach, I believe. And there was snorkeling.
St. Thomas.
It hit me. Yeah, what was it?
St. Thomas was the champagne and snorkel. Do you remember?
Oh, champagne and snorkel.
Yes.
Ooh.
Champagne and snorkeling. So they took us to a little beach and we did some snorkeling and then they came and retrieved us and there was champagne and rum punch and snacks on the boat. The weather was a little overcast. So it was nice that we weren't hot, but it wasn't the sunny beach day we had hoped for. And then in Tortola, we took a catamaran to Joost van Dyke. And beautiful weather, beautiful beach. I mean, me too. We were all in the water all day. They've got that bar right there. And I loved the catamaran ride too. We got splashed quite a bit. It was like Splash Mountain, but it was gorgeous. That was definitely one of my favorite days. And then we all got sunburned.
Of course. This is like classic, right? You just don't, you do that first layer of sunscreen and you're all good, but you forget to reapply or you forget to reapply enough, or you have a couple of spots you just miss on your body and that's where you get sunburned. Now, did you guys go to, was it Ivan's Stress Free Bar that they took you to? Okay, so over on Joost van Dyke, yeah. Yeah, we did that. What did you think of the food there? We did not have a great experience with the food there, I'll be honest.
I loved it. I mean,
okay,
I didn't eat any of the meat. So let me tell you, they gave me extra portions of mac and cheese, beans and rice. I can't remember what else. Maybe there was a potato salad. Not quite sure. I was really happy.
Okay, maybe that was our mistake.
What did you think?
I had the jerk chicken, and it was spicy. I
remember that. Yeah,
I eat like mild to medium spice. I mean, it definitely. I wouldn't call it like. It wasn't too hot to eat. I still ate it, but I was like, took one bite and I was like, I thought it was all right. It was pretty good. I finished my lunch. There were also, one of the highlights for me was that there were a bunch of kittens running around begging for scraps. I don't know if you saw that when you were there. It was really cute.
The one thing we had a really rough time on that excursion. I'm wondering if Disney got some feedback and fixed some things.
Yeah, we hope they made it better.
We had a really rough time. When they pulled the boat up, we were like counting the number of flares. Just like, 30 of us on this boat, but there's only like 10 chairs out there. Did they have more seating available on the beach? Oh,
yes,
good.
A lot more.
Good.
Maybe 40 chairs. There were chairs for everybody.
Okay, good.
Not all of them had shade, but there are more than enough chairs.
Okay. That's great to hear. Because that was our biggest problem was just like, we ended up just like getting 2 like Adirondack chairs for the 3 of us because all the loungers were like gone very, very quickly. And so, yeah, but our biggest problem with that excursion was that. Now, did you go to the morning version or the afternoon version? Like, did you leave at like,
yeah, it was, we were the morning. We were the 9 a.m.
Yeah.
9 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great because then you get back to the ship like not super late in the day. Of course, you might get sunnier weather if you do the afternoon version because sometimes the morning can be a little over. Like your catamaran ride to the beach can be a little bit overcast before sort of that fog has burned out. But I personally like a morning excursion and then you have some time in the afternoon.
For our Tortola day, our all aboard time was 2 p.m.
Oh, wow. Early day. Okay, so yeah.
That's odd actually because
on too.
Yeah. Oh, I guess was Tortola your first stop or your second stop?
Second.
Okay, so they needed the extra time to get you back up to Castaway. Ours was flipped around. So St. Thomas Day, Tortola was the first day. St. Thomas, we had an earlier all aboard. I don't remember it being as early as 2 something.
I don't think it was. I think it was like 3:30 or 3:45. 3:45.
Yeah. I found it odd too. I remember asking Shoreside ahead of the cruise, like, really? Like, is that true? And they said, yes, sometimes that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And it
I mean,
might be
they
the
need enough
Ford.
time to
Yeah.
they need enough time to haul you back up to Castaway, and usually they go to St. Thomas or Tortola. Is it Tortola? Yeah, Tortola first because it's the furthest south, and so then when they make their way to St. Thomas, they're moved a little north, and it cuts some of the time off.
Yeah.
But
Oh, those are pretty close together. St. Thomas and
They are.
Tortola. They're quite.
they
yeah,
could
they're
cut the
quite close.
lines and just float over if they had to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
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 No, we
All right,
saw on like the WhatsApp chat, a lot of people, I think it was speculation or they talked to cast members, but there was discussion of having to get a lot of supplies, bring extra supplies to Castaway. And this had something to do with needing to like get there faster or something. I don't know.
Had to haul a brand new plank of 50 plus sailors off the ship, So to add to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about Castaway. You mentioned getting the Mickey and Minnie Cove cabanas. I know you guys had gotten a cabana before, but it was one of the older, the now called Sandcastle cabanas. And so this time you opted for Mickey and Minnie cabana. You would have had pretty much your pick of the litter at that point, being doing that concierge sailing. What did you think of those cabanas in comparison to the Sandcastle, and of course the location? And I guess the real question is, you heard our review. We felt like it wasn't quite worth it, just given the amount of time we had at the cabana and how far away it was. But I'm curious what you guys felt about it. I'll start with Paris for this one.
I will say I told my mom about your criticism about that it wasn't enough time, and considering how much you're paying for it, you didn't get as much. And she goes, mm-hmm. So you're not alone in that. I thought it was beautiful. We didn't spend as much time in the cabana when we went on the Wish because we did a parasailing excursion that day. So definitely have more memories from this cabana because we did this all day. But one thing that came up was we were all sunburned, and I wanted to get like a rash guard or something, but I didn't do it at the beginning of the day because I wanted to get to the cabana. So in order to get back to the shops, I had to take 2 trams, and then but if we had been in those older cabanas, I would have been a lot closer and had time to go to the shops. I think that's personally my only criticism is just that how isolated it is from being able to do any of the other things.
Yeah, and there isn't, one of the things that's a negative about Serenity Bay is there isn't a shop at Serenity Bay. I'm not sure why. It seems like it would be smart for them to have it. They don't have to have as big of a shop, right? Because you wouldn't have to have all the sand toys and any of the kids stuff, right? You could have just some adult only stuff if they had a small shop at Serenity Bay. But yeah, they have, if you're doing one of the cabanas, or one of the Sandcastle cabanas, you've got by the seashore is the shop that's closest to you, because that's at Family Beach 2. At Family Beach 1, you have She Sells Seashells. And so, you have those 2 options that are closer, and one of them that's easily walkable. But yeah, there is no shop. I didn't even think about that, Paris. That's a good point. Jason, what was your take? I still think a cabana is lovely. So I don't want to I'm not trying to tell people not to book a cabana. It's just a matter of no.
We're just trying to let you know out there, you're spending a lot. This is the experience. So you make decisions that are right for you and your family, right? So yeah. But yeah, Jason, what was your reaction to the Mickey and Minnie cabanas?
Well, first I would rewind to when I sent the request for the cabanas, because I didn't know about the Mickey Minnie cabanas when I sent the request 130 days ahead. And so then when I got it and I got the number, I looked it up and I was like, what is this? No, I want the other ones. I want the old ones that's near all the things. So I wrote and requested Sandcastle cabanas, and I thought they maybe would just put me on a waiting list, but they wouldn't. They said, no, we're not doing waiting lists anymore. So that was surprising. They told me I would need to check with the concierge team when I got on board to see if they're kind of managing it manually, but there is no waiting list for, I think, either specifically to get a Sandcastle or a Mickey and Minnie. It's not operating that way. So I did request that on board with concierge. And I was surprised because Brian, a couple years ago, you left a tip to program the email through Google to go at 1 minute past the deadline, right? 12:01 a.m., let's say. So I did that, and I still didn't get the Sandcastle cabanas. They were all booked within that minute before my request was received, apparently.
I will revise my tip. I set my email for the exact time. So if it's supposed to be in at midnight, I set it to send at midnight because then it sends at 12:00, and then because I think they take them in the order they come in. So yeah.
Yeah, I was scared of it coming in a minute too early, especially since, hey, I'm in Europe. I, maybe it needs a little extra time, or it'll be too fast. Who knows?
I feel like with the digital age, we're all operating on the same exact clock all the time. So yeah, I queue mine up. Usually I do it like a week before, and I just set it to delay send for the specific time. The one tip I will give is I have been traveling before and have had to think about like, what time zone is this email coming from? Or I need to go in and adjust the time zone in the email software. So it's like send it at 12 o'clock, 9 p.m. Pacific time or 12 a.m. Eastern time, right? So yeah.
Right. Double check, right? But remember, when you are putting this on your phone or your phone or computer is currently set to whatever your local time is, and if you're traveling, it's not your normal local time, it's whatever local time you're sending from. So when you set that email, to send, right, delayed send, make sure you're selecting midnight Eastern time for whatever that day is so that you don't get screwy with the time zones. It can be very confusing. When I'm doing that count back of 130 days or 123 days or whatever, depending upon our booking window, it's always, I literally like triple check it because I know I don't want to, we're on Pacific time. And so it's the day before, but at 9 p.m., not midnight on the day of, right? So very confusing. Yeah, no more wait lists. Yeah. No more wait lists, unfortunately. I'm not sure how much they were doing, to be perfectly candid. I'm not sure how that they were really doing them effectively before. On board, they do.
I think they may have been doing them pretty effectively before, Sam, because I think the no wait list thing may be their way where we now see more and more people going on. I snagged a Cabana, or a Cabana became available. It's like someone from Concierge canceling.
But there have been times where people have been able to do that before, though. That's why I'm saying I just don't know. Yeah, I just
far fewer than what I've heard recently. So yeah.
But I do think on board is your best. If you're sailing Concierge, your best bet is on board for either making a change or snagging a Cabana if you weren't able to get one. And your mileage is just going to vary by how full your sailing is, and your sailing being, still in April, so still spring break sort of time, although later in the sort of in that. But if Concierge was full, then you're going to have more of those Cabanas full, and of course, the other levels of cruisers will grab them as well. All right. Well, so it sounds like a great day on Castaway, but dealing with some sunburn. So maybe actually taking the benefit of that Cabana more so in the sense that you have extra shade.
Are you listening to our show because you want to make the most out of your next vacation? Great news, the fabulous team over at My Path Unwinding Travel can help guide you so you don't miss a thing. Their team of professional travel advisors are caring, knowledgeable, and experienced. It's why we use them to book our own travel. My Path Unwinding Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, which means they are recognized by Disney for their expertise and service. They have sailed on all the Disney ships, including in Concierge, visited the theme parks, adventured with Disney, relaxed at Aulani, and so much more. Whether it's a Disney cruise, a theme park vacation, or Adventures by Disney, or if you are looking to expand beyond the mouse, My Path Unwinding Travel will elevate your next vacation planning experience. Even if you have already booked, reach out for a complimentary consultation to make your vacation even more magical. Ready to talk to the experts? Head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCL Duo or email dclduo@mypathunwinding.com so they know we sent you their way. Thanks, My Path Unwinding, for sponsoring today's show. Now back to the episode.
Let's move back onto the ship and talk about some of those experiences on board. Jason, I think you mentioned early on one of the things you did take advantage of was the concierge lounge and not paying for those drink tastings. I got to ask, now this is your first time getting to experience all of the food in the concierge lounge, because of course you have those offerings on the Wish, but on 3 nights you don't really get to experience all that much of it. You got, hot breakfast, you got lunch items, you've got dinner items, and then everything else in the case. Did you guys take advantage of that lounge and the food and drink offerings there more on this cruise than on your previous sailings?
I think so. We definitely ate breakfast every morning in the lounge. That it was our go-to. We didn't have breakfast anywhere else. We only had breakfast in the lounge. Well, I didn't have any hot lunch or dinner items this cruise. I don't know, Paris, if you did lunch or dinner.
No, I didn't. No,
But lots of snacks. We ran
just ended
back
up
all the time.
Just ended up somewhere else.
Yeah. Lots of good items. I gotta give a hard recommendation if you're sailing Concierge, it's one of the benefits, of course, but there's a million places to eat on board. No, regardless, you can, of course, all that pool deck food is amazing on the Wish class, but some of those items, there's even the Palo lasagna is one of the, that has meat, so you can't eat that.
Sam's just still sad she didn't get her spaghetti and meatball tacos.
There is a spaghetti and meatball taco that I didn't get to try.
It's on the kids menu.
Yeah. But there are some, there are some really good, some of them are strange, some of them not strange, but some really good items I gotta give a plug for. If you're paying that upcharge for Concierge, take advantage, whether that's with food or with drinks or snacks or whatever. It's just a really nice option. All right, I want to talk entertainment because, of course, you got some great entertainment on all the Wish class ships. Did you guys get to experience some of those like Sage and Coriander storyteller performances? You're both nodding. Okay. All right. What did you guys get to see, Jason?
So together, Paris and I, we saw the Aladdin show in the Grand Hall, right? And then Paris, were you with me when they did the Encanto retelling? No, I can't remember.
Yes, I think so. That one was much shorter, right? And we went with you and Vera and the kids, and Noelle came with us too.
Yeah, exactly. Noelle is a friend that my daughter made and spent all of her time with on the cruise. So that was great. So for me, Sage and Coriander were a priority for this cruise. I was like all over it. And Paris was helping me gauge in the app, like tracking when they are up. And she'd like send me messages saying, oh, they're coming up. They're going to be here now in this place. So I also saw, let's see here. Oh, we did the Jungle Cruise boat thing. And Vera, Casper, and I were in the boat. We were in Coriander's boat. And we won, of course.
Of course. I love it.
That's awesome. Casper got to be the scorekeeper, and I got to go on a quest, on a mission off the boat. I had to hop on hippos and tell a joke to the other cast member, the Sage. And if I got him to laugh, then he would give me the key for something. I don't know. I lost track.
Oh my goodness.
10 o'clock at night. But it was super fun. It was in the Grand Hall at like 10 o'clock at night, one of the nights. I don't know what this would have been like as a show. Because to be honest, it's very loud and chaotic. It's much more like a game. It's much, and it was really fun, but there wasn't much of a story to follow. It was just fun, funny chaos.
Yeah, you've got to be a participant. That's one of those ones that being the participant. So you get there like 10 minutes early for the Jungle Cruise thing and volunteer to be a participant. So you're going to be in one of the boats in this competition between these two teams. And that's the way to enjoy this experience. It is not, you can watch, but you're going to miss a lot of what's going on because they only use the mics for parts of the game. And it is really just weird chaos, the kind of game going on. It's really fun to participate. I've participated, I think, twice in that. It's wacky. It's hilarious. The kids who participate always get to do, fun things and have a good time. I take it Casper enjoyed that experience.
He did. It was super fun. Yeah, it was great. I was really glad we did that. And then on one of the other nights, Vera and I caught Choose Wisely, the 10:30 p.m. show, Choose Wisely. We were there in Sarabi, front row center, got there 30 minutes before. Like it was priority, like number one, numero uno for me. And it was worth it. It was awesome. I loved it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Stay up late enough.
There is a 7:30 version, Paris. It's the 10:30 version is better because it's like the audience is more lively and more into it typically because they've had a couple drinks and it's end of later in the night. But if you have if you're one of those people who just can't stay up till 10:30 for the show, I would highly recommend hitting that 7:30 show. It's a retelling. We've talked about it on the show before, but it's a retelling of all the Indiana Jones movies by basically two people. It's just a two-person stage show, and it using very funny props, and it's just hilarity ensues. It's wacky.
Really funny. We'll have to go back on the Treasure Paris.
You'll have to go back. It's an adult-only experience for just to be clear. This is one of the only, I think it's the only show that Sage and Coriander do that is adult only on the Treasure.
It was the same night that Vera and I went to Enchanté. So Paris was on cool aunt duty, minding the kids. So that kind of got in the way of her being able to go to the show. So
was that the day we did Joost van Dyke? I think it was.
Yes, that was it was Tortola Day. Yeah, so it was a very long day.
It was, and Willa went to have dinner with her friend. And so it was just Casper and my mom and I went to dinner, but my mom's hearing aids broke. And so I was kind of doing some shepherding. And by the time we got done with dinner, I was like, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah. Just
fun without me. I'm tired.
That totally makes sense. What about the stage shows, Paris? Let's cover those with you. Did you guys go to, you've got Seize the Adventure, Beauty and the Beast, and Tale of Moana. It's probably, I've gotten the order wrong. It was probably Seize the Adventure, then A Tale of Moana, and then Beauty and the Beast is my guess. That's how they typically do it. But did you go to all the shows? And if so, what did you think of them?
We did. I didn't go to Beauty and the Beast. We had just gotten back from Castaway Cay and we had to pack all of our suitcases. And I couldn't sit still in a show when I knew there were suitcases that needed to be packed. And I heard that it was on the TV. I didn't even know it was on the TV. So I didn't see that one, but we did see Seize the Adventure. And I'm sure Jason told you in the past that we both cry. So it was like by the end of that first number,
we're big criers for theater and movies.
Yeah. And the rest of our family just looks at us like, I'm like, there's something wrong with you guys. But yeah, by the end of that first number, was it with Merida, Elsa, and who's the third that's in that? Is that Moana? Anyway, by the end of that first number, we were just
Moana.
It was Moana. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was really moving.
Even Casper loved that number.
I liked it more than I did on The Wish, and I couldn't tell you why. And then we saw Moana, and when they transformed that puppet, it was just like, and you could hear the crowd go, whoa, magical. Casper was hooting and hollering, jumping out of his seat. When it was time to applaud, he instantly stood up and I have never seen him enjoy anything as much as he enjoyed this show. It was like the best thing he'd ever
was so
seen.
Enthusiastic.
And he came over and hugged Jason. He's like,
he gave me the biggest hug. Yeah, he was just floored by Tale of Moana. He told me it was the best thing he'd ever seen, and couldn't believe it. I was really touched and surprised by his reaction. I was like, okay, Disney, take my money. Let's get that placeholder. Let's go. Let's
Here you go, Mickey. All my money. Here you go. Oh my God. I love that. I love that Casper loved it too, because I love it. So I mean, that moment is, for those who don't know, there's this big puppet and it transforms from Taka to Tafiti. And that's all I'll say. Because I don't even, it's Disney magic, the way that they do it. It's just brilliant. And it is, of course, it's the end of the show. And it's this incredible moment. And everybody is clapping and excited, but it's beautiful. It's really gorgeous and visually stunning and just amazing. It's a marvel. Yeah, I love that. Fantastic. All right. Well, Jason, I know you went to see Beauty and the Beast, young Padawan. Jason follows all my advice, running around after Sage and Coriander, going to see all the shows. You know, he is a dutiful student of the DCL Duo podcast. So tell me, what did you think of Beauty and the Beast?
I thought it was fantastic. It was great. I have seen Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, so it wasn't quite that, but it was wonderful. Definitely better than all the Beauty and the Beast stage shows I've seen in the parks over the years. And the Be Our Guest number was outstanding. Like, I didn't want it to stop, and they make it extra long, of course.
Yeah.
But even so, like, I was like, keep it going. Like, that definitely got the biggest applause. And the actor playing Gaston, holy cow, the pipes on this guy, and he's also like super fit and super cut. I wanted to tell you, Sam, I actually worked out with him in the gym, and I didn't even know it.
No way! Oh my God!
So the actor, he plays Gaston. He also plays Hercules in Seize the Adventure. So I went to the gym one day, which this is the first time I've used the gym on the ships, and it was awesome. And this guy, big arms, taller than me, asked to use a piece of equipment I was using. Fine. And so we're lifting like next to each other. And I was shocked and awed later that night at Seize the Adventure when I see him come out as Hercules.
Like,
really
first I
weird.
was intimidated by his body, and now I'm intimidated by his voice.
Exactly.
I love it.
But he was, wow, really incredible.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
Also the Tale of Moana was, exceptional.
Yeah. Really, really well done shows. I think all three shows on the Treasure are really just incredible. If you watch The Beauty and the Beast or Moana that's on the TV in your stateroom, you're seeing cast number one. You're not seeing whatever cast is currently. It's not a live showing. It's a taped showing of a previous cast, but fantastic. If you can't get to the theater, I highly recommend watching it. It's not shown like all day. It's only shown at I think 3 times all in the evening, and it's shown the night that they're showing it in the theater. So if you have a kid who can't sit still, it's actually a great place to watch a show in your stateroom. All right. Well, I want to talk.
Can I ask? I want to ask. What does your mom like the most on board? Like, what does she get up to?
I was going to ask about the kids, but this is a good question too.
Yeah.
Steak.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
She ate so much steak and she loved it. And I'm not a vegetarian, but I tend to eat vegetarian on these cruises. And I'll tell you the main reason why. The meat and stuff, it's too filling. The portions are too big and I can't finish it. And the vegetarian plates I can get through and I enjoy them. But yeah, she ate steak at almost every dinner except one night she had lobster tail. I don't know that's the only thing I could think of as far as what probably the thing I saw her doing the most.
She loves the shows. She loves it all. Yeah. The whole experience.
Yeah. The lounge.
After our cruise on, I think after our cruise on the Wish, she told me it was the best vacation she'd ever had in her life. And then at the end of this one, I asked her, okay, Treasure versus the Wish, and she says, "Oh, the Treasure. The cruise is so much longer. It was everything." So I think she was just very happy with all of it. Yeah. But yeah, she ate all the steaks.
You mentioned that you booked. Did you book Enchanté? What did you book for adult dining, and who participated?
So I booked Enchanté. It was just my wife and I this time. 2 years ago on the Wish, we did Palo Brunch as a group.
Okay. What did you think of Enchanté?
And you had the vegetarian menu.
We did. We had the Portugais menu. I felt very welcomed and included by having a whole prefix vegetarian menu. The service was exceptional, but I think for us, it's a one and done. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. I go to France all the time. The French are not great at vegetarian. They don't get it. The French cuisine and vegetarian, they're just
not great. Perfectly compatible.
They're not great friends. And basically, you end up with everything being salt and butter. So the flavor profile is very one note. So I wouldn't say we didn't have anything bad. I think we could tell you about some really bad food we did eat on this cruise, by the way.
Oh, really?
Well, yes. Let's go there.
Wait, before we get there, I want to say I wonder if it would make more sense for you to do I don't know if they still offer it, but they used to have this just dessert thing, right? Where they did where you just booked a dessert menu at Enchanté. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they had where you would, I think it might have gone by the wayside during COVID, but you used to be able to book a dessert only, so it was of course a lower price, and then you just got the dessert courses. And I wonder if that would be a better option as a vegetarian, because at least you get within dessert you get different flavor profiles between different fruits and different chocolates and things like that. Because I can understand if everything is salt and butter, that's not really it just doesn't make for like 7 courses, right? It's fine for like 2 or 3 of them to be like that, but it just gets, like you said, one note after a while.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just hard. I live in Europe and have access to wonderful food all the time. And I travel for business a lot to Italy. So I have a lot of really nice business dinners in Milan. So it's hard. but I, like I said, I'm really grateful we did Enchante. It was on my bucket list, and I'm happy we went.
I think you
The
just have to
service was
eat meat,
exceptional.
Jason.
Yes, yeah, apparently that's the answer.
That's the answer.
I do think if you're going to eat meat, then go enjoy it. It's really wonderful.
Yeah. And fish, of course, is a combination. Okay, so we got to ask you about. We like to ask about the good, bad, the ugly, right? We talk about the good stuff, but we don't want to, we don't want to gloss over. Sometimes you don't get great food, or sometimes the service maybe doesn't meet certain standards. What were the things that maybe didn't meet Disney's standards?
I think we have to talk about second night at the Marvel restaurant.
Oh, really? My favorite dish is on that menu. I gotta warn you. My favorite, the salmon dish that I have there is excellent. I don't know if it's overcooked, it's terrible, but
So we didn't order that, but this was, well, it's 2 things on World of Marvel Night 2. This was our first time doing World of Marvel Night 2. Very quickly, I will say we were really looking forward to the new show, but our hot take is that there wasn't enough show. Like, we really expected a lot more Groot and Rocket, and it's very limited. You're sitting there doing mostly trivia for an hour.
That's true. You're 100%
not
right.
enough Groot and Rocket.
The problem is they went too far the opposite direction of night 1, right? Night 1 is like a little too much show, and then night 2 is just too little show. It's like there's not a great balance. They went, I think, both of them are a little bit too far. I think the night 2 is better because it's a little bit less interrupting, but
I think they're also trying to be somewhat responsive. There's plenty of guests who have sort of said, hey, can we just have a family dinner that's not overpowered by your show? So it's like, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But yeah.
Well, we're big Guardians of the Galaxy fans. The kids and even Vera, like we love Groot, we love Rocket. Rocket is like one of Casper's top tier Disney characters. And we left us wanting more. We expected, I guess, because on night 1 you get so much show. We probably expected that much show of Groot and Rocket, and it wasn't there. But pivoting to the food, so I think I ordered, there was some sort of like vegetarian mushroom strudel kind of thing. A fancy Hot Pocket, if it were. And Paris, I think you and Vera ordered the udon noodle and tofu. And then it felt like we had a great service team on this cruise, by the way. Exceptional. I think the best of the 3 cruises we've had easily. It felt like, I think within 30 seconds of them putting those dishes down on our table and us trying them, they were honest and said, do you want something else?
Yeah. So they knew these were not good dishes. Yeah. Oh, what a bummer. Well, at least they were Johnny on the spot, right? Like, that's the thing is, like, and maybe did they make other recommendations to you or no?
When I look at the rest of the menu, all the meat dishes, they had all these lovely sides with them. So we just said, bring all the sides of everything. And they were delicious vegetables. I can't remember what they were, but all the things that they normally put meat on top of were really good, actually. It just wasn't a meal. We kind of missed the protein on that one.
Yeah. Paris, did you have the same reaction to that meal?
Yeah. So, I took a few bites of the udon and was like, okay, I really didn't care for it, but I'd had worse things. But then Jason was like, I don't think I want this. He pushed his plate away. And then Vera goes, yeah, I don't like this either. And I said, no, this is not good. And so I tried the strudel and I literally took a bite and spat it out on the plate. I was like,
oh, that's really bad.
I was not expecting for it to be as bad as it was. Right. Like, if it was just like kind of bad, like I would eat it, but it was so, like, I reflexively spat it out. Yeah. So they brought us.
This is good to know.
Yeah. They brought me the ratatouille that I'd had the night before at 1923, which was good.
But we had other amazing meals.
My biggest criticism of Marble, so the food, yeah, that was not good. They took care of it. They brought us stuff. They were giving the kids special meals the whole time. And like, we got the whole princess treatment that you expect. And our lead server, Natasha, like moved mountains to get two different, got him a veggie chicken burger and an Impossible burger on deck for Casper. Like, yeah, she did a lot to get whatever they wanted, got something off the room service menu brought there. And so they were fantastic. I don't care for the shows at Marble. I don't care for the interactive nature. I would rather sit back and eat my food and watch a show. It was just, especially with the trivia, there was so much trivia. It just really distracted from being able to spend time together. It just felt like there was this pressure to do the trivia. And I also have sensory issues. And there's something about the noise and the setup in that room. I don't like it. And we discussed that if we go on a Wish class ship again, we're going to skip Marble altogether and just go to Concierge Lounge. Or I guess Vera had some dinner in front of Funnel Vision one night and really enjoyed it.
We had an amazing pizza from the pool deck. It was fresh made with veggie sausage and arugula. I mean, honestly, I would pay money for that to eat that pizza again. It was good.
Yeah, honestly, there's so many other options. Like, of course, at dinner time, you've got to time it right for like the pizza places open during dinner time. The other places actually close right before then, right? So not all of them, but this Mickey Smokestack and Donald's Cantina both close at 6 p.m. typically. And so if you are wanting them for dinner, you got to grab it early right before they close. But pizza, and I forget what time the grill is open from, but both of those are one of those at least is available. Sometimes both of those are available. There's great stuff there. If you're saying Concierge, of course, you can go to the lounge and get food there. And then the room service menu is also a good option. The sleeper hit that Brian and I both really like is doing the pub food. Of course, that you have to pay for. It's not included. But there's some really good pub food in that Periscope pub. One place we didn't touch on, I want to ask you, because this is the one place that's different from the Wish, which is Coco. I got to ask how you guys enjoyed the show and the food there. I'm particularly curious about the vegetarian food there, Jason.
Incredible. Amazing. Fantastic. Especially night 2 at Coco. So I did request for us to have our last dinner be at Coco because I wanted like that just super sweet, cathartic dinner moment on the last night. And boy, did they deliver. And the food was amazing. Guacamole, amazing. I think I have enchiladas. I can't remember now. It was maybe we had a fantastic meal at 1923 one night, and then the Coco night 2, I think, was the other standout rotation meal that we had, especially as vegetarian. Super, super happy. And the show was super touching. And being Concierge, we had a table right next to the stage. So, we really got the full experience. It was wonderful.
The princess treatment, as I like to call it. All right. Well, I want to ask about the kids. Rounding out the. Yeah, you brought them with you, right? They came, right? Okay. So you got.
Although I have to wonder why we keep bringing them sometimes.
I know. I mean, because it's they frown on leaving children alone for multiple days. I mean, I don't know. Just like set out some newspaper and some cereal, they'll be fine, right? No, but I'm curious about Willa and Casper's experience. It sounds like food-wise was very good because your servers took really good care of them and making sure they were accommodated. But I'm curious about like the kids club and other experiences. You mentioned Willa making a friend. I know she's kids club age, and I know that Casper is edge age, just like our son Nathan is. I'm curious as to whether or not either of them use the kids club, use Edge, and sort of what their experience on board looked like. Jason.
Yeah. So my kids are really not big kids club kids, much to my disappointment. I think this is the first cruise that I just fully accepted it and said, it's fine. We gotta stop trying. But they did both go for a little bit at different times. So here's another example of where I took your advice, Sam. I had reached out on the Facebook group ahead of the cruise and solicited friends for my kids. And I got them. So Willa made a friend, Noelle. We did a FaceTime before the cruise and they got to meet. And they were basically inseparable the whole cruise. They did go to the kids club on the first few days. They went to the kids club a bit, but then I think after that, they just we let them free roam, with a phone. They had a phone and we had set check-in times. So we saw them frequently and they always followed through on the check-in time. They're always there right on time. And we had, all the parents had each other's numbers. We were WhatsApping each other. It went off flawless. We'd also made some other friends, actually a Dutch family that live in the Netherlands. We met them on the Facebook group. We had them over to our house a few weeks before the cruise, got to know them. So they have 3 kids and a boy who was friends with Casper. They got on pretty well the first couple of days, but then they kind of fell out a little bit, but it was okay. I think the friend is 2 years younger and was on the cusp. He could go to the kids club still, and he really enjoyed going to the kids club. And Casper was not going to do that. So this is why we bring Grandma and cool Aunt Paris, because Casper gets to hang out with them too.
I got jealous with the kids with how much Willow was hanging out with Noelle. I was like, oh, okay, I guess she doesn't like me anymore.
You've been replaced, Paris. You've been replaced. You've been replaced by a child. It doesn't take much.
I didn't mind having Casper hang out with me. And I will say too, I told Natasha on her last night and stuff, I really feel like Casper had the best week of his entire life. Like he seemed so moved and had such a good time. Not everything's perfect all the time, but he really, I think, got a lot out of this trip.
I would agree. I think the other cruises being short and being new ships, that comes with certain expectations and anxieties, even for children. The Treasure being the same layout as the Wish. So we already knew where everything was instantly the moment we walked on. And we were in Concierge again. We actually booked the same concierge rooms that we had on the Wish. They were the exact same stateroom numbers. So it really felt like coming home and having the extra time, the 7 nights, really benefited Casper in a way that he was able to be calm and relaxed and enjoy himself, I think, the most. Even though he says he loves all the cruises, I think this one was probably the best for him.
Yeah, he had enough time to kind of get used to it. And that was actually really smart to book the same stateroom. I mean, if you can, we actually are kind of creatures of habit. We like to book either the same stateroom or in the same kind of location for every cruise, even as long as it's the same class of ship, we'll book that either that same room or one off if that one's not available. So I do think that can help anyone, but especially kids with sensory issues and who might take a little bit more to get comfortable. I think that's, it's a really smart tip that I would give to anyone. Whatever you can do to get your kid more comfortable from the get-go, do that. If that's watching videos ahead of time, do that. If that's staying in the same stateroom or close to the same stateroom, or same category of stateroom, do that, right? These are the things that will make your vacation a lot more enjoyable. And because if your kids are relaxed and happy, it's a lot easier as an adult to be relaxed and happy. And I think it's awesome that Aunt Paris and Grandma could be there because you guys live so far away. And so to be able to have, that time together and be able to, that way, Jason, you and Vera get a little bit of date night time, but Paris and Grandma get time with the kids. That's a really lovely thing about traveling with family as well. Now, is there anything we missed before we, Paris has never been subject to a rapid fire round here on the show. So I think it's about that time, but have we missed anything that happened on the cruise or that was, memorable or remarkable about this sailing?
I think maybe we should talk about churro waffles.
Oh
my gosh. And I had them both days.
Yes.
She's a pro.
So we have yes, we have maybe two churro. Yeah, Paris has notes. Paris, you go first, and then I'll share the other churro waffle anecdote.
I will say we did churro waffles in Concierge were on Tuesday, and then the Marceline Market were on Thursday. And so we had them on Concierge on Tuesday, and they were fresh and so good. But then I went to Marceline Market on Thursday. I was just up early. Nobody else was. I was just like, they're there. I'm going to go get them. And they're not made fresh, and they're not cold, but just compared to having already had them like freshly placed on a plate versus in a tray in the heat lamp was not as good. They're delightful though.
And I will add, we almost didn't get to have any concierge churro Mickey waffles. This was our St. Thomas Day, and our port adventure call time was 7:45 in the morning. And we're not really morning people, our family. Not really, no. So we were up on time and trying to get everybody out the door. The goal was to get to the lounge by 7:15, so then we have at least 30 minutes to have breakfast and then to get downstairs to, I can't remember where we needed to be. I think it was Worlds of Marvel, actually, was our gathering point that morning. So no one was ready. I got to the lounge. I ran to the lounge like 7:25, 7:30. And, they're all there. It's great. The churro waffles are being set on everybody else's tables, but you have to order them. And the concierge lounge on the Wish class has warm food, but it is not fast food. It takes time. And time is one thing I did not have. So I told the host what was going on. I said, our port adventure call time is at 7:45. We have to be downstairs. I know it's churro waffle day. I need to have those churro waffles. They said, well, it's going to take 20 minutes. And I said, I've got 10. What can we do? What can we do? So they did. They did. They shout out to Kamisha. She is amazing. They were on the walkie-talkies calling in like a 911 for churro waffles for our party. Like call on 911. Call on 911 the churro waffles.
What's the overhead PA code for need churro waffles?
Yeah. Star code. Yeah, star code, churro waffles.
Exactly. So she ran back to the kitchen. Yeah. I could hear her voice, shouting something out like, we need this right now. Within, I think, less than 60 seconds, they came out with just one big plate with about 8 churro waffles sitting on top of it in the middle, whipped cream on the side, set them on the table, said, here you go. Thank you. You made it happen.
The one tip I might give you if you do something like this again, Jason, is tell them the night before. If you tell them the night before, then what they can do is as soon as they open, they're making your batch of churro waffles. You walk in and they've got them there for you. So yeah. If you tell them the night before, they might be able to make it happen a little faster for you. Yeah,
that's good advice. My plan was to be on time, and I should have known better.
Right,
so,
right. You got to know thyself and know thy family. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, I have to say, absolutely, they're better when they're fresh. They're not bad in Marceline Market, but they're even better when they've just been freshly made. But as you mentioned, it's delicious hot food. It is not fast food. So regardless of what you order in terms of that menu, that hot menu in the concierge lounge, it takes, good food takes time, right? That's why the French take forever to make all of their food, because it takes time and love. All right. Well, I think it's about that time, Brian.
I was going to say, Sam, I think it is time for us to have you subject. are you going to do both?
I'm just going to do Paris. It's Jason's already done. Actually, Jason will get he'll get one question, but
if you want to check this out after the fact, it'll be up on YouTube. You can see Jason's reactions to Paris' answers. But yes, we have reached that time of the show where, Paris, I need to hand you back over to Sam for some arbitrary questions, some arbitrary rules, and a dash of judgment of the round we call rapid fire. Sam, take it away.
All right, Paris, I'm going to ask you some Disney favorites, some Disney Cruise Line favorites, and your answer does not have to be from this trip on the Treasure. It can be across either the Disney Wonder, the Disney Wish, or the Disney Treasure. So you're free to answer with all of the ships that you have been on. We're going to start with Disney favorites. Who is your favorite Disney character? And Disney means anything and everything that Disney owns. So you can even pick like Bart Simpson.
Muppets. All of them, especially Gonzo.
All of them. I love it. Perfect.
I like Gonzo because he's a weirdo.
Same. I love him too. Favorite Disney movie?
Favorite Disney movie? Willow was asking me this. It's so hard to choose, but my favorite princess movie is Mulan because I like that she proved that she can do the same things that boys can do and better.
Love it. Perfect. All right. Favorite Disney song?
Surface Pressure from Encanto.
Yeah. Fantastic. Love it. All right. On board Disney Cruise Line, what is your favorite Disney Cruise Line main stage show in the Walt Disney Theater? Moana. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. favorite rotational dining, again, across all 3 ships.
Animator's palette. Animator's palette on the Wonder, because I know it's different on the Magic. Animator's palette on the Wonder.
Favorite savory food and favorite sweet food. We start with the sweets because the savories are the best, so we save the best for last. So a favorite sweet food and then a favorite savory food.
Probably the churro Mickey waffle. And then savory. So the best thing I had on the Treasure that like I took a bite and went, the celeriac guacamole appetizer at, is it Plaza de Coco on the second night. They ended up bringing me a second one. Honestly, I wish I hadn't ordered an entree and I would have just ordered like 5 of those. It was so good.
I love it. I love
It was
that.
just guacamole
Awesome.
and chips with some stuff, but it was great.
Favorite activity to do on a Disney cruise?
My favorite is to spend time with my family. I went to Haunted Mansion like 3 or 4 times and just hung out.
Yeah, it's a super cool space. All right, this is the most important. It's the second to last question in Rapid Fire, but it's actually the most important question in Rapid Fire. And this can get you the most judgment. What is your favorite ship of the 3 that you've been on?
The Treasure.
All right, no
There's-
judgment.
There's pros and
Congratulations.
cons. There's things I like about all of them. I wish the Animator's palette was on the Treasure instead of Marvel. But yeah, I'd say overall the Treasure.
All right, Jason, I have to throw this over to you because now you've been on the Treasure. What's your favorite ship?
So the correct answer is the Treasure.
That's right.
Empirically, it is the Treasure. But I will say that we do not have agreement on this in our household. Vera has some hot takes.
Oh, wow. Is she going to choose? I mean, the Wonder is a fantastic ship. So if she chooses the Wonder, she won't get judgment, but she will get judgment if she chooses the Wish. So I got to just put that out there. All right. Well, I'm not going to ask it because we got to have Vera on the show so that I can ask her directly and give her my judgment in person. Okay. So my last question, Paris, is your bucket list cruise. And what I mean by that is if you could go anywhere in the world and it would be on a Disney ship, it doesn't have to even be someplace that Disney Cruise Line currently sails to. This is your like imaginary itinerary, and it just has to be someplace accessible by water. So where would you like to go?
Either Australia or South America.
Awesome. Both fantastic bucket list choices. Well, thank you for playing. You have passed with flying colors. You did not get any judgment, really, especially with that Gonzo answer came right out of left field, but it's like it might be the winner of today's rapid fire because I, of course, love the Muppets. And I also love Gonzo and think that he is wonderfully weird. So thank you both for playing. Thank you both for coming back. Thank you for playing on the limited question, Jason. It's just been lovely to have you both. Lovely to have you back, Jason. Lovely to meet you, Paris. We hope that you will come back. I know Brian wants to ask, so I'll end there.
What's next, Jason?
We are having a lot of discussions. It is not clear.
Uh-oh. What's the debate between? Maybe we can help solve the debate.
So the debate is it's multifaceted. So the plan right now, and when this will be the kids finding out when they listen to this episode for the first time, but the plan right now is 2 years from now in 2028, we're going to do Aulani. And we're going to try to go for 2 weeks. It's a really big trip from Amsterdam to go to Hawaii. And we're doing it 2 years out because my sister is having a milestone birthday. But what's the real reason we're going to Aulani, Paris?
Because Mom's never been.
Well, so the debate is, Paris and I talked a lot. We want to do more cruises. But our mother insists that she needs to go to Hawaii before she's too old to enjoy Hawaii.
Personally, I would love to do more cruises, but there's only so much time and so many dollars. And I want to do Aulani because one thing when we were in St. Thomas and when we would go to destinations that I thought was like, wouldn't it be nice to just already be on the island and be able to just go to the beach?
True.
Yeah.
Not have to get on and off of a boat.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Look, Aulani, you cannot go wrong with Aulani. We owned at Aulani. We love my favorite vacations of the last several months was our 2 weeks we spent in Hawaii at Aulani on our points. And yeah, you can. It's like we always say, it's the closest you can get to a Disney cruise on land. So I think you'll have a fabulous time, and you can't make the wrong decision here. So Jason, Paris, just one more time, I'll say thank you for taking of your time to come on the show, share these experiences with our guests, and we just super appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. It was awesome to see you again, and I'm really trying to get on a cruise again, and I'll let you know.
All right.
When we figure it out.
I'm in a blue sky mode for the next DCL cruise.
Well, thanks to everyone out there for listening this week. We really, really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you can keep getting great content from us every week. In fact, twice a week we publish shows. So be sure to hit the subscribe button to get all of those great episodes. And if you want to watch us live, we have a live show now every week, Monday nights, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern over on youtube.com/DCL Duo. So be sure to head over and check that out. If you want to help support the show, be sure to hit those 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you leave us a written review, a 5-star written review, we will read it at the top of one of our main episodes, so please head over there and hit those 5 stars. Of course, you can also help support the show by supporting our fabulous show sponsor, My Path Unwinding Travel. If you want to book your next Disney vacation, head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCL Duo or email them at dclduo@mypathunwinding.com so they know we sent you their way. If you've got questions or you'd like to connect with us, the best way to do that is to head over to dclduo.com. It's got links to all of our things, full catalog of the podcast episodes, including a searchable catalog for the podcast, links off to our vlog, a link to our Etsy store where we sell some fun fan-inspired magnets, link to our Patreon if you'd like to help directly support the show each and every month. Just head over to the website or patreon.com/DCLDuo. Also has a way for you to sign up for our Substack newsletter that we're hoping to start really pumping out monthly here at least, and a few blog articles that we've written. So DCLDuo.com is the best way to connect with us. You can also, of course, email us at info@DCLDuo.com or reach out to us on our voicemail line at 402-413-5590. That's 402-413-5590. The DCL Duo podcast is not affiliated with Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Company, or the Disney family of theme parks. The views expressed on the show are solely those of the individuals on the podcast and in no way reflect the views of the Disney Company or Disney Cruise Line. If you have questions about a Disney cruise or a Disney vacation, please contact the great folks over at My Path Unwinding Travel or Disney directly or your own travel agent. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time for another fabulous adventure with the DCL Duo. Good night.